Hello, Apollos Pedro here. You welcome back to Apollos Pedro podcast. It's another beautiful evening with our dear friend and a co-host Tiasha Kaselik Asomani.
Hi,
How are you, Tiasha?
I'm doing great. It's my
Uh,
first weekend basically back in England, so I'm chilling.
yes, you are back to base.
Yes.
Interesting. So, how has life been? I mean, 1 week because you returned back last week Saturday actually.
Yes.
So,
You know what? I immediately jumped in this chaos, right? School has started, so it's like there's droppings, picking
mhm.
ups, and a lot of laundry to do, and prepare the apartment back to our liking. And so,
That's
yeah.
good. Yes. That's always the case. Moving from here to there, you have a lot of things to laundering and a lot of things to take care of when you are back home. It's
Especially when
always,
you leave a man alone for 2 months in a house, you can imagine.
what does it have to do with a man?
Well, shoes
Why must it,
there and socks there, and
why must it always be our fault?
well, because let's be honest, men are not made to be domesticated.
That's true. On that I agree. On
Yeah,
that I
so
agree, honestly. Anyway, it's good to be back home.
yes,
So good to be
very, very
back home. I
good.
believe you feel good. Perfect. Perfect. So, where do you have your roots now? I understand obviously that you have your motherland, Slovenia.
hmm
Is that still your roots, or has the United Kingdom become your roots?
I think I'll put it like that. Imagine a tree, right? And you know how
Okay.
they sometimes they cut a little bit of a branch of a tree to relocate it somewhere else.
Yes, of
No,
course.
that's how I feel. Like my main tree is in Slovenia, obviously. That's where my true roots are. But I planted my own tree here,
Good.
if that makes sense. Yeah.
That's a lovely one. You know, our topic today is a very interesting one in the sense that a lot of us have our background. Most of us that live in the diaspora, and we are like a stream. We continue to flow. One could have been
Yes.
in the UK for about 30 years, and if an issue warrants and they need to move, even relocating to another country entirely, they will do it. And
Yep.
which is something that most locals find difficult to do. And I've seen cases like that here in Italy where I live. One could have been here for 30 years. Once everything is in order for them to be able to relocate to somewhere else, they do it. So that kind of made me to understand that our dreams, we continue to pursue them. It may be on a hold for some time, and this could take years, it could even take a decade. Whenever a
True.
chance happens to be out there for us, we do it, irrespective of our age, irrespective of how long we have been in that particular place, is something that I believe is human at
Yeah.
this point, that people continue to move no matter how long they may have stayed in one particular place. So, do you notice this too in your environment, in your place? Do you see this continuous movement of people from one place to the other in pursuit of their dreams?
I'm gonna say it like that. It might not be necessarily like relocating to another country as much
Mm-hmm.
as it's like looking for a perfect city or town where they could find themselves. Maybe also like where they connect to it more, as in, some places remind you of home, although they are not
Yes.
home. Like, there is something, even if it's just a single building or a church or something.
So
So
true.
I think that that's more common. that I mean the people that's are kind of in my circles, but in general, I don't know. I think for us that we moved and we've been through this difficult part, relocating to another part is just easy because you kind of get those experiences and the feel, the vibes and stuff, how to connect to the city or a country or wherever you're going. So I think that that's also something that we need to take in consideration because the hardest is the first move. I think that once you are
Yeah.
in your motherland and that's the place you grew, you were bred there, there is your tradition, your culture, people environment and stuff, the food you eat. um, so leaving that behind and completely relocating to another place, I think that step is the hardest. Once you are relocated, and if you want to relocate again, I think it's easy. That's
Yeah,
how I
but
see it.
yeah, that's true. When the question is this relocation in the continuous pursuit of happiness, or maybe in a layman's term, greener pasture. When does it
Yeah.
stop? Is it a continuous thing in our life as long as we are humans?
I
We,
um that's a very good. When we started the discussion of bringing this topic out, this is one of the things that I had in my mind also, and I was really thinking about it because are we ever complete as human beings? Forget about just relocation as such. Do we ever like stop growing? When it comes to personal growth, I mean, um, because we all, we said we are living to learn, right? That's
yeah,
why we are there. That we have some mission in this world, be it career,
true.
be it whatever. Um, so I don't know. I think that with us, something really hard or difficult times needs to come that you even think of leaving what you are used to behind. And not necessarily always the happiness. It might be economical reasons, it might be love reasons, it might be educational reasons, it might be just you being as an adventurous person because we exist. um, I think that it depends on the situation, but I believe as a human beings we never stop growing. And I think that we also, especially how we are made, and I'm not talking just about the competition or envy or whatever. I'm talking about that, like, neighbor's grass is always greener. And I think that, even if we have it, let's say, all, we don't have it all. And, when we get to, I don't know, something that we wanted and we reach it and we have it and we grab it,
Mm-hmm.
I think that we have another plan, another mission then on the long run, There is something in the future that is like making us, drive and just go and push. So I don't know. I
Absolutely.
think with us, the difference is just that some people do it at home in their homeland because of whatever reason. And then there is us, on the other hand, who are maybe pushed, to go and look for it somewhere else.
But could this have implication in the ability to raise our children if you keep moving from one place to the other? Especially maybe the children are staying their formative years. What could
Hmm.
be the implication of something like this? I mean, in your opinion, obviously.
Being that I have three children, and if the situation arose that maybe like a job opportunity or,
Mm-hmm.
economical reasons as such, uh, as we all know that there are difficult times, we are all living that as of now.
Of
And
course.
if I knew that there is a better country, uh, I don't know, Pedro, I don't think that I would look on my children as selfish as that might sound, because whatever I'm doing for them. You know what I
I
mean? So,
completely agree with you. I
yeah,
completely
because
agree with
like
you.
I think that even when they are 15, 16, and they get to that age where obviously they have friends, they have their circles. Like, nah, we are moving. You know what I mean? Like, You are still under my roof. You're not an adult, and that's how it's gonna be. When they grow up, they might probably, being that we are adventurous, they might be the ones who are gonna leave us, and we're gonna be facing all of that.
That is
Um,
supposed to be the
y-
case. I mean, after they have come of age, they are supposed to leave the nest.
right,
At
but you know what I
at,
mean by leaving the nest. We are talking about kilometers and kilometers away, right? Maybe a plane
like we
ride
did,
away.
like we did exactly.
Exactly,
So
exactly. Yeah.
that's how it's supposed to be. Anyway, I agree with you on that part in the sense that from where I'm coming from, it's a common saying. You don't say because of your children you are not going to do what you are supposed to do to make life better for yourself and your children, especially if it means moving far away from home to be able to get that thing done. You do it.
Yeah.
But where I live here at the moment, some people have that idea or believe it or as a form of philosophy for them that because of their children, no, they wouldn't do this, they wouldn't do that. And even when it comes to even in abusive relationship, oftentimes because of children, some people get stuck in it, which at the end of the day is not really healthy for the children as well. Of course, a loving home would have been better for you to raise children. But if it turns abusive, there is no need. That's no longer a home. So for some people, this is a very hard pill to swallow. A very hard pill to
Is
swallow.
it is it is it a hard pill and it's really the children, or is just their children and them making excuse? Because
It could be
there is
both.
oftentimes, I mean, Pedro, look, we came to a time that saying the truth is very difficult. Admitting that you might be, you have weaker points or you have fears and stuff is something people don't like to do.
Yes,
And
that this
saying
is
that
true.
you are not doing it because of the children, it for me is it's an excuse, and it's just like you basically wrapping the truth. I know what it is. Like, listen, we all been scared. This
Hmm.
is the scariest part, to sit on a plane and go somewhere unknown.
That's
What
true.
is tomorrow gonna bring? So,
You don't know.
it's either, exactly, if you're not adventurous, say it. That's okay. Like, for example, I have family members who tell me, like, I mean, I admire you. I would never be able to do that, because they feel that comfort at home. And I know they are scared, and that's okay. And I always tell them, fine. As long as you are happy, that's all that matters.
But it's
If
not
you
really
are chasing
happiness.
your dreams, I mean, happiness. Listen, it's maybe it's better to use comfort. But what I say is, like, you know, um, if you are satisfied with the job and the economical part of it that it's bringing you, if you are
Hmm.
satisfied with the place you are living, you are raising your kids, if you are satisfied with, let's say, from medical institutions to political institutions, and everything suits you, I'm really happy for them. You understand? Okay, fine. Maybe they might not be happy. Maybe it's just that comfort and they think they are. Who am I to say that for them? But
Yeah, that's true.
Um, I don't know, like, I see my mom, for example, she's never been jobless because she started basically in a family business. You understand? Since
Hmm.
she was 16, she was helping. When she was 18, she got employed. Then she took over after, some years and stuff. And she doesn't know, even though the salaries back then were little, she doesn't know how it is to be completely without money. So she's one of those patriots, for example, that cannot imagine how it is when you are pushed to move, because, like,
Yeah.
the way she was, even if we are going back and we are talking when she was younger, or when she was pregnant with me and stuff, when she had an opportunity to go in a capital city, but she refused because of that comfort. That's how she is. She's not adventurous, she has fear, and that's okay. I always
But
tell
in
her,
this
you are
case,
nothing
it's not as if
less.
she was jobless. In this case, she was not jobless. She has things going on for her. It might be a
Yes,
different case
yes,
if there was nothing going on for her.
exactly. Basically, she never had a reason to, like, a strong reason to relocate,
Yes.
be it another city or be it another country. And now when sometimes I tease her and I say, "Hey, why don't you, just move to England? We're gonna find you some saloon because she's a hairdresser, right? You're gonna be doing hair and stuff." She's like, "No, how would I do that?" I'm like, "It's the same, just the customers would be different." But it's just like, some people do not know how to do it. Some people were never forced to do it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's completely fine. But it's also something here. I find it very strange when those that didn't travel or
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a taste of it find it difficult to understand us.
That's
They
true.
still don't like. I In these 2 months, like, I listened a lot, and especially because I'm close to my family from family members, we had kind of heated topics about that as well. When they told me, "Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but look, but Slovenia is beautiful. You have everything here," and I'm like, why is everybody mentioning just the beauty of the country? I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's not the point of living in a space. Like, of course, I love Slovenia. It's a beautiful country. And I'm happy, that you found yourself here. I mean, are you satisfied with the job you're doing and stuff? That's totally fine. I didn't have that opportunity. Maybe years ago, if I had a good job at that time, maybe I would stay. Who knows?
Yeah, but it's
But
not just
it's
about a
just
good job. I have met people, Tiasha, that left what I would have considered a good job for them to go and pursue a life that they have always wanted to. It's something within our spirit. If we believe for a fact, probably for reasons best known to us, if we don't feel a sense of fulfillment in wherever we are, geographically, even a stage in our life, we can never be happy. Haven't you heard of people that left job in Wall Street to go and be selling ice cream or to go and take over mom and pop shop? There are people that have done that. It
yes,
sounds
that's
crazy,
true.
but that's real life. So it's a matter of
I mean,
finding
we have
fulfillment.
that's yeah. Maybe I generalize it too much because for me, main and foremost reason for moving was economical reason.
Which is
Everything
valid.
else followed, but yes. And I know we are different. Like you said, some people have like very good paid jobs and are living their life, but they are not happy. They don't like this chaos of cities and stuff, and they move to the farm side,
Yes.
villages and stuff. And I get them as well. um it's just like, what is there at certain point in your life missing. And I think that we go for that. And I applaud to all of them who made bold decisions, whatever
Which is
whatever they
not
were,
easy, by the
that they were
way.
able to. No.
It's a very difficult thing to do. You can see, even looking
Exactly.
back at your experience the last time we spoke, if despite the fact that you were ready, you made a conscious decision to say, okay, I am moving. You got yourself prepared mentally, even tapping into your past experience in Cyprus and everything. Life at the beginning in the United Kingdom was not rosy for you. It was difficult. You explained all of them the other day. Imagine
Yeah.
when one is not even mentally ready to embark on a thing like that. You see the reason why people forgone their dreams for a very long period of time. However, where I find problem with this is that it's not just about them or anyone putting his or her dream on a hold for a moment or still trying to figure out himself. Where I have a problem is oftentimes the complaint and finger pointing that comes with it. That's just where I find it difficult to relate with somebody like that. I have a friend here in Italy at the moment. She will tell you how much she would have made it, how much she would have been making economically if she was in a place like Brussels, in Belgium, because some of her friends that they both studied together, she has the contact and everything, and she has a child, about 7 or 8 years old child here. She's divorced, separated. In my opinion, she has every possibility to be able to move, even marriage wise. But she doesn't want to do it. She keeps saying that she is living here for her son. And I am thinking, what if this son turns 18 and said, Mom, I'm going to the UK? I'm just making an example. I mean, how do you even explain
Yeah.
it to your child? You did all of this for her, and unfortunately, you live in a very, just a little bit above the poverty line. But all of this you did for her, I mean for your son, when you could have done better, when maybe emotionally you could have feel better. Because at times people separate the importance of liquid cash, steady flow of income to be able to cover expenses that we all have. I am not talking about living exorbitantly here. Some people really find it difficult to meet ends meet every month end. So if you have a place where you can live better, provide better for your child, and you choose to remain in one place, at the same time saying that you are doing it for your child, I don't get it, Yasha. Am I too crazy or too dumb not to understand this?
Um, Number one, this is you see, I get you. I would react the same way. But we need to be, less partial here and think, like big people do. If you see it like that, if she hasn't relocated, let's put this as number one. The fear of
Yes,
relocating and moving to unknown, it's valid, let's say. Number
absolutely.
two, the comfort she's feeling being surrounded with family. Let's say they live even, I don't know, 100 kilometers away. That's still in the reach of a car drive. So it's easy, it's simple.
Mm-hmm.
The language, the just like an everyday comfort. But again, I believe that this is a pure case of a person not being able to stand on the feet and say loudly, I'm terrified. I am terrified. I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I do not want to put my kid in an unknown because I don't know how I'm gonna cope with it. And listen, that's fine. Just do not use your kid as a reason because if you are doing it for your child, then you are going to a better place. If your child is really in a question, then you are going for where your child has a better future. At least
Bingo.
in that moment, at least in that moment, how you see it, you do it for your children. So if it's really about the kids, people need to stop using them as an excuse of their weakness. We need to
So
stop.
true.
Admit it. Listen, I was scared. I was petrified. I also moved with the child, and not 7, 8 year old. It was 1 year old where I didn't know what kind of a milk I can even offer her. Is it gonna be an allergy reaction or not? As simple as that worry,
Of course.
you know. So it's just like come on. I knew I'm not gonna have a bed for at least a day in a house. I knew I'm not gonna have a couch until I have money. I knew that my child has limited toys because that's all I could put in a luggage. So people need to stop making excuses. Sometimes you need to be brave for your children. Even if inside you are dying, show the kid because even in his future, this might really, really, really benefit your child because you are teaching him, her, whatever, how to face the world, how to face the difficulties when they arise. So,
I,
I would tell this woman like, listen, I get it. It's fine, but you need to say it out loud. And you need to say it so loud that you're gonna hear yourself say it. Because that's
yeah,
when you're gonna realize where the problem really lies.
absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely. I completely agree because I agree based on this particular fact. Call me stupid, I have no problem with that. If you must make a sacrifice for your children, let the sacrifice be worth it. You
Yeah,
can't be making sacrifice of nothing for your children.
yeah,
It makes no economic sense. It makes no even emotional well-being. Let's be honest. It makes
yes,
you can't be talking about sacrifice of nothing for your children. Living in an environment where they will have less opportunities, that's no sacrifice as far as I am concerned. So if you are
I agree.
making a sacrifice as a parent, remember that the world continues to move. And it is in our nature as a human being. That is why we are not like plants that grow downward and upward. We are flowing. We are like the breeze. We are like the stream. We continue to move. If one
Yeah,
geographical location prove no longer convenience for you, you move. It is our innate
exactly.
ability. It comes naturally with us. And that's the reason why, not just for the fact that I work in the social sector, immigration, or what have you, I genuinely believe every society, not that I believe this is the real fact. Every society that we know of today was formed by people migrating from one place to the other. So
Yeah,
there is no society on earth today that if you trace their roots, you will see or know where they come from. Even the United Kingdom that you live in right now, if we want to trace their root back, you will be seeing where some other people came, conquered the natives that were there. They formed the city. There is the reason why they have the name that they have now. Somebody gave that name or the name leads back to their roots from where they are coming from before they formed that
exactly.
society. So this is how life is. Every
Yes.
goddamn society that you have move from one place to the other. Look, I was even having a debate yesterday. I didn't sleep on time because I happened to be in this Instagram discussion or whatsoever. Someone was someone a Westerner was telling another person, Westerner though, but living an African descent, telling the person, go back to Africa, go and save Africa and the rest. You don't have to come here. Don't worry, it's a stupid discussion, but at times that is where you meet real people. You get to know how people feel exactly. But my rebuttal was this: one thing that most people do not know is that even if you are moving from point A to point B, it's just a reunion with your lost brother, long lost brother or
Hmm.
sister, because at the end of the day, we are all distant relatives. And guess what? I am not even the one that said life started in Africa, the great migration and everything that leads to other people living wherever they are today. As far as the Chinese even discovering as well that look, their great great ancestor migrated to the shock of everyone because they didn't want to believe it. Even the scientist, I can't remember his name offhand now. So it was a shocker for all of them. So what am I saying? Even me leaving Africa to come here, I've only come to be with my brothers and sisters that went
Yes.
away very long time ago. I don't know what happened. Maybe they were not happy. Things went bad. They need to survive. They needed to make it in life. They went away. I am only here to meet my brothers. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
You guys said life started in Africa, and here I am. I'm your brother. I'm here now.
Hmm.
Deal with it. So it sounds too audacious and arrogant and everything. I don't care. But this is the real fact. I am not the one that said life started in Africa. Your guys did. You wrote the book. You did the ecological exploration and everything. So you can't blame me now.
Yeah.
I'm only here to meet my brothers and sisters. So you better help me as your brother and sister. I have come. you can't do nothing about it. So, but what
Yes.
am I saying? Even though I use a very simple increasing example, is that look, right from the dawn of time, humans have always moved from one point to the other.
Yeah.
3,000 years ago, there were different sets of people living in the society that we are living now. Even the country that I live today, when I went for holiday for a holiday last year, there was this tour guide that was I went to Puglia. There was this tour guide that was discussing about the origin of Italy, how Italy started. I can't remember how many years he said back. The entire country as we know of it today was filled with water. It was an ocean or a sea. There was nothing like a train or anything living. But today it's a full-blown country with the highest mountains, the country with the most amount of mountains in Europe. A very beautiful
Hmm.
geographical location. Everywhere you go to in Italy is unique. So
Yeah.
people move from where they were to form the nation we live today. So why is it not clear for some people, no matter their economic situation, no matter their even health or whatsoever, why is it difficult for them to move? Why should a human being grow a root in a particular place, especially blaming it on their children? I don't get it.
I mean, I would say it like that. If it flies with you, I'm fine. If you want to grow
Yeah.
roots at one place and establish your life there and stick to it, that's fine. Completely fine. Don't forget that storms come, harsh winters and stuff when the trees get collapsed. So be careful where you actually, grow your roots. I always say it like that. We're all nature. We're all kind of, if we go in this spirituality and stuff now, some people might feel me on this. Some people might think that I'm stupid, but that's how it is. That's how I see it. We are all one. Even a tree is a living thing,
Of
so
course.
if you establish your roots at one place, be careful at what place you're gonna be doing that. That's all I'm gonna say. And again, I cannot say to somebody who never moved or never thought of moving, you're crazy, you should have done it because it was done in history and blah blah blah. I always say it's fine. If it flies with you, it's fine. But do not look at me like I'm crazy because I left something behind. Because I don't look at you like you are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just leave it at that. If you decide that it's okay, or your fear is too big, or your children, whatever,
So be it.
so be it. Fine. I know, and and many people watching this right now know
Mm-hmm.
that when you move, it's not just economical, love reasons, or whatever. It's a personal growth. And I,
Absolutely.
for instance, I am very grateful for the opportunities I had. Maybe, another is gonna arise. I don't know where I am. Um, I learned a lot. I adopted basically new cultures. I learned, about them. I see the difference in people. They helped
Mm-hmm.
me, when it comes to the way I was thinking before, it's different the way I'm thinking now. So
Absolutely.
yeah, hey, if you
Then,
don't travel, then it's more for me. You know what I say? Like, we can't all be the same. So, more
yeah,
space for me
but
to travel.
there is this saying that traveling is part of education. It's another form of education. You get to know
It
the world.
is.
It opens your horizon. You see things differently from what it used to be. This was part of
Yes.
our last discussion, actually.
Yes.
It is very, very important and important as well for our children. So, leading back to what you were saying earlier on, even though the children, your kids may not be that too happy about it, even if we are to introduce happiness into this discussion, it shouldn't be a thing to look at from a negative point of view all the time. Children are free to move, even if they have to change schools and everything. At the end of the day, it's going to be a beautiful experience for them as well. It just depends on how the parents are able to accompany them with that passage from point A to point B.
Yes.
And besides, children are not that very delicate as we tend to make them be or look like today. Some children, in real
It's,
sense, are stronger than us.
I mean, I always say it like that. I see children as our mirror reflection. If I'm gonna be fearful of something, my child is gonna be fearful of something.
Of course, that's so true. Because
So
the first form of socialization starts with you from the house.
exactly,
If you
exactly.
socialize
So
them
if
to
you
be fearful,
introduce
they become that.
exactly, so if you introduce your child, for example, fear of traveling, then your child is most likely never gonna move. You know, I mean, maybe. Like me, for
That's a
example,
very
I don't
interesting
have a
thing.
traveling family. I am a black sheep in a family when it comes to this. I'm more adventurous. I don't mind sitting on a plane and going places. Even before I was married, you know, um, it's something that I feel like my mission is somewhere else, not in motherland. Um, but my family, although we never really traveled or something like that, they never put that fear. We just didn't talk about it. Like they gave me a free way. Like if you decide to do it, go do it. So basically, since I'm 16, I haven't been living at home, so to speak, because I went to the capital to study. Then I moved, norther up to go to another school. Then I went to Cyprus. From Cyprus, I came for a little while, but now I'm in UK. So my life always has been relocation, relocation, and I'm
Yeah.
probably different, but I think what I'm trying to say is that it's very important not to root this in your children. The fear, whatever fear, not just of traveling in general. Um,
I agree
and
completely.
you need to give them that feeling of life. And you need to tell
Absolutely.
them that opportunities are limitless. They
And
might not be in the reach of your hands, but they are there.
And beside that, if they have any heart desire that they hope to achieve, if they can't get it at home or wherever they consider that particular home, they can go out there and get it because the world belongs to them like everyone else. There should be no
Yes.
limit to how far we can dream. Our dreams took us to where we are today. They have that right to, as humans, to explore the world, travel around, and do whatever that they want to do and pursue their dreams
Yes.
wherever it may take them. So that is really, really,
Yes.
really important. If nothing at all tonight, what I really want our viewers and our people following our discussion to know is that look, enough of saying it. I know people that have been planning ever since I knew them, ever since I met them, how well they will travel, so. Some people actually believe that they need to make a lot of money to be able to travel. We all travel in different styles. There is no particular, it's just like life itself. There is no particular way of traveling, and especially if you live in the West, in Europe in particular today, the flight ticket and everything has gone cheap these days. It doesn't matter whether you like flying with one particular air carrier or the other. The most important thing is that you get to your destination. And I have even taken
Exactly.
the campaign down to my community. I tell people today, especially of Africa descent, my fellow countrymen that live here, look, you can't just be living in Europe for a very long time, but being very far away from Europe. You don't know any particular place in Europe. You haven't been around. There is the number of cities in Europe that I consider to be imperial cities that I advise people to visit. Like, come on, man, visit Venice if you can, visit Vienna, visit Budapest, visit Torino. Some of them even live in Torino, but they don't know the Torino. You understand? Those are some of the imperial I'm just visit London when you can. You know, do the best that you
Come to
can. Visit,
Ljubljana. You forgot
eh?
Ljubljana. You forgot Ljubljana.
Ljubljana. Love Slovenia. In Slovenia there is love in that country's name, eh?
I know, and there is
No,
no country like that in the world. So
it doesn't exist. Visit these countries, and it doesn't cost
yeah,
that much to visit. Visit Prague, Praha, or it was when I visit Prague that I know it is actually called Praha. I didn't know that
yeah,
before. It's called Praha. So
yeah,
interesting.
uh-huh,
So you need to be able to move around. And guess what?
yeah,
It doesn't cost that much to be able to go to these places. I don't want to start mentioning the airline names because it's not as if they paid us to start advertising for them whatsoever. But
yeah.
there are really cheap flights that you can take. Go to Valencia, go to Madrid, even if it's just for a weekend. Take your children there. You can't be living in Europe for 20 years and you do not know Europe. Honestly, they don't have a story to share with
Uh,
their children. And I
that's
find
you
it
see,
really
that's
crazy.
another thing that I will not understand. Um, I mean, I can't really relate to it. Um,
I know. I
why?
just
Why
use the
not?
example of my
But
community. I have locals here. I have locals here, really, that were born and bred here. Honestly, they've never been to Rome. I have locals here. I just use,
it's funny
for the
because
sake of
I
discussion, I just
notice.
use my community.
I know because where I am, the people haven't been to London as well.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, so the excuse is it's too far.
Good. But
Okay.
the world keep moving. The world is not gonna like things are not gonna return back to how it used to be. That is why I keep telling people, for instance, even when it comes to political change or transformation, some people believe that when the right person comes, things will turn around. What has been done. Even when that so-called quote unquote right person comes, there is little the person can do.
Yeah.
If it has been written, if they have voted on it and everything, I can bet you for you to be able to change, you have to go through the whole unworking of the process. And mind you, with what I know people to be today, they are not ready for that. That will be another change again that they are not ready for. That's so crazy. Life
This
cannot
is
go back
another
to
part of our magnificent revolution, right? And evolution and whatever comes
Take a
in.
step
Oh
back.
my God, no! It's um, you know what I always say: if you are not ready to experience it, if you are not ready to integrate, if you are not ready to absorb it, if you are not ready to learn, then please don't do it.
That's true.
Just
That's
don't.
true.
Grow your roots there in your comfort zone, in where you feel at home or whatever you want to call it, and let us people who want to deal with that, who want to go through that, do it, and we will do it in the right way. Because
Yeah,
when people do it for a wrong way and in a wrong way and for a wrong reason, it throws a bad light on immigration in general. It doesn't, people believe that we are in another countries for wrong reasons, or we do not respect the country for that reason, and it's just it's not right. And I always say, like your friend, for example, that you mentioned before, in a way I am happy that she's using, let's say, a child for an excuse, because if she relocates and she does it the wrong way, not only they both gonna suffer, but she's an Italian. What are they gonna think about Italians then? Because only one person screws up, it shows the finger on a whole country. You know what I
so
mean?
true.
So we
Yeah,
also need to respect this. Yes, the world is ours, but there are different part of worlds, sorry, that live differently, and we are there to respect that.
that
So
is true. That is true. But I, for one, I, Pedro Apollos, I have come to a stage in my life where maybe probably because of exposure, because of education, having the possibility to meet people of various backgrounds and experience in life, I am not liable for anything that any other Nigerian out there do. I don't even allow neither the society that I live in, either a friend or a foe, push me into that manipulation to make me think that look, I should feel a sense of responsibility of what somebody else has done wrong. I live in a country that have laws. If anyone has contravened the law takes effect irrespective of wherever the person is coming from.
I
If
agree.
you live in the territory of Italy, the laws of Italy as a nation, Repubblica Italiana, takes effect. It doesn't matter. You don't even have to have permit of stay. Like if
Yeah.
the law has to respond to what the person have done, you don't need to have permit of stay before the law can take effect. But if you live under this territory, the law of the land, the constitution of the land takes precedence. So I no longer allow either in fear or in favor to be lured or indirectly pushed into taking responsibility for what I have done nothing about. I am not liable for anything that any other Nigerian out there has done, either wrong or good.
And I
However,
agree.
good.
But
If
sorry to interrupt here.
okay,
Here you need to know the people that do not travel, the people that do not come into, of cultural varieties, people that do not know how it is, those are the people that normally judge. And those are the people that are going to point the finger in the whole country, the whole community, the whole nation, the whole race. And,
that's true.
as even now, look, UK, a boy went, stabbed 3 kids to death. Soon as I basically reached Slovenia, the news popped. It was very close to where I live.
Mm,
And he was of African descent, born in UK, but of African descent. And when the riots after that followed and they started, they blamed whole African nation.
hmm.
And me and you know that Africa doesn't have only one country, but they blamed
So
it on
true.
Africans because they
Yeah,
are immigrants, you understand, they moved here and stuff. So that's what I say. And those are the people that do not travel. Those are the people that never stepped a foot in Africa, for example. Those are the people
that's
that
true.
don't know what kind of a people you guys are. And that's why I say, if you're not ready to travel and face that, please do not. But like I said, please then, if I do not judge you, you do not judge me. That's why I also
So
used
true.
that at the beginning when we started our conversation. I'm sorry I
Hmm.
stepped in, but trying to make it clear because if you're rooted in one place and you don't know other cultures and you don't know their livings and their surroundings and the backgrounds and traditions and cultures and manners and whatever comes with it, you cannot understand it, and it's the easiest to point finger on the whole nation.
That is
I
true.
completely agree with you, but me and you,
Hmm.
we've been places, we know how life goes, how relocating is and stuff, but they don't, unfortunately.
That's true. That's true. Unfortunately, that is what we have to deal with as well, as
Yeah.
someone living in the diaspora. However, I accept that there is this ignorance. I also believe as well, even it is my responsibility to continue to work in one way or the other to change the narrative. We gone, especially as far as I'm concerned, gone are those days, just like I rightly said, that I'll feel guilty maybe because someone was arrested for whatsoever, or just like the case that you just made right now, the example that you just gave. This person was
Yeah.
given birth to in the United Kingdom is like he's not different from Prince William. Just as an
Yes.
example, he's not different from Prince William. However, he only become an African simply because he has done something wrong. If that
Hmm.
if that person has gone to win gold medal for the United Kingdom, they wouldn't baptize him as an African. So even politically or socially, I repeat, Personally, I'm above that. I no longer dwell on that local cheap talk, but I do realize that a lot of people are still at that level. So I am
Mhm.
not downplaying it at all that this is what is going on. I was the one that talked about the argument that I had on Instagram yesterday because at
Yeah,
times these, these things really do happen. But what I do personally at times is that I tried my best to kind of correct the narrative a little bit as much as I can. But I don't have all the time in the world to do all the things that I would like to do. And above all, let's be honest, people want to believe what they want to believe, irrespective of what you and I tell them today. People have their head where they have it. They don't even want to move as far as those type of discussions are concerned. Whatever the case is,
yeah,
I think if you live in a particular country, either being a foreigner in that particular country or a local, it is important, in my opinion, that you move around a little bit. You try to do some exchange programs. Even starting as student, at least that's the whole purpose of Erasmus program for at least anyone going to the university in this day and age. You do
yes,
some of these activities, it helps you, it foster a kind of friendliness. We may never really,
hmm,
really, really, really be lovey-dovey and be friends to the core that we now become thicker than a brother, but at least we learn to see things from other people's perspective. That is the beauty of life. I genuinely believe that the
exactly.
creator of this world or in nature, whatever anyone believes, didn't create us all the time to be like this, to be this united and everything. Because I don't think some of these chaos that we have as humans are by accident. I genuinely believe there is a reason for it. Otherwise, going back to our discussion earlier on, how people move from one particular geographical location to another, United States of America was discovered for a purpose. Somebody paid Christopher Columbus to go and do the discovery and everything. A king in Europe here paid him. Somebody paid for the ship and everything. He went, he discovered, and he populated the place. There is a reason why some Western brothers came to Africa. They did whatever they did, but here I am today. You and I are able to converse in English. Not that English is a European language, it's not an African language. But
Yeah,
believe it or not, I use it more than my mother tongue. I
yeah.
can't even write in my mother tongue, but I can write in English. So I now
It's
begin
so
to
funny,
believe,
isn't it?
of course, I genuinely believe today that all of these things happen for a reason. Either
No, they
it's
do.
in the plan of our creator if you are those that believe in Christianity or religious wise, or even scientifically, if you believe in nature, if you believe in evolution, there is a reason why what happened, and here we are today. And based on that as well, that is why I have a little bit of difficulty at times because I don't want to talk as someone that is perfect here. I have a little bit of difficulty when I see people being stuck in a particular thinking, especially when it comes to the movement of people from here to the other. Why are they not like us? Can't they just do it the same way we do it? If that was the case, Tiasha, the whole world will have been genuinely, like we call it in theory, although it's not in practice, will have been a global village. We will have You
Hmm.
wouldn't have problem going to the United Kingdom, going to Germany. In fact, I will understand anybody that I met, meet along the way, even if the person is coming from Seychelles and I'm coming from Comoros Island, the other one is coming from Australia. But that is not how it is. And it is due
Exactly.
to these difficulties that it instigates or kind of create a little bit of curiosity in our heart, in our mind, to know the other person. So this to me is also positive in nature. If there was no this
Mhm.
conflict, I don't think we would genuinely want to seek out to know the other person. Or don't you think so?
You think you know what? You know what? I like now that you're talking. I'm thinking, who judges who more? Those that are traveling or those that are stuck?
In my opinion, I think it's both ways. But on this case, I will give it to those that are traveling because at times we meet people that travel around a lot. They are very stereotypical in their approach. They always want to
Hmm.
believe that they know that society so well. You can meet somebody who will tell you that I know Italians. I'm like, how many Italians do you really know? Let's be honest. The same way you will meet someone who will tell you that I know Africans, I've been working with them, and I'm like, really? The whole 54 countries in Africa, do you really mean to tell me that you know them? Let's be honest. I I came
Oh.
I in the extended family that I come from, I cannot even beat my hand on my chest here to tell you that I know all of us. How in the world do I know all Africans? I don't even know all
Oh.
the Nigerians. So these are some of the crazy. This is the reason why I believe that oftentimes those that do the most are the ones that believe that they have traveled, especially the so-called educated one. They are very stereotypical in their approach. They want you to believe that I know this, I was there to so and so, I studied this and the rest. Where I agree with you, Professor Verbenen. I am not here to fight and be arguing, but let's call it spade a spade. How many?
Uh,
I live in Italy. We're about 60 million people in Italy. Do you really mean to tell me that I know the Italian way of life from Valle d'Aosta to Sicily? I don't fucking know it.
you cannot. You cannot. Like it's literally impossible.
No, that's
It's,
just the gospel truth.
uh,
So, based
but
on your
this
question,
is a
on that
part
ground,
of.
based on your question
No,
on
just
that
say it.
ground,
Yeah.
I give it to those that travel around a lot because oftentimes they they come with this stereotypical idea of the society that they have visited and the rest. They don't even give us the chance to know people a lot. When in my last studies, I can't remember the name. Was it Vygotsky? I can't remember. No, not Vygotsky. It's somebody else entirely. I think it's an Australian scientist or American. She said that if you really want to know a society as a
Hmm.
foreigner, you want to study them, the best way for you to know them, for you to see how they really act, it is when they have become comfortable. They don't even notice your presence among them anymore. Then, under that circumstance, they are free. They talk.
Hmm.
And I have seen it,
Hmm.
I have even seen myself doing it. There was a time in my life if I am speaking to an African person, it's a different thing entirely. The idea, the approach to even approach the conversation and everything is different. If I'm speaking to a European, it's a different thing. It's just of late that I'm trying to kind of blend things. I do
Hmm.
less of code switching, even when it comes to language. I let my accent whatsoever flow, deal with it. This is how I talk. This is who I am. I'm a Nigerian. My
Exactly.
accent is big. So maybe it comes with a little bit of more confidence and experience. I feel at home more than I used to feel earlier on in
Hmm.
my sojourn in Europe. So I tend to agree with these scientists when you have been among people enough, then for you to really study them, to know how they are, those people have to they no longer have to see you as a threat anymore. In that case, they are free. Even in studying animals and the rest, that is how it works as well. If you want to study
Definitely,
lions,
but it's also you mentioned, look, it's been like what, over a decade now that you are there, and
mhm,
look at you now trying, you know, or maybe realizing that and trying to work towards you blending in more. Imagine a
yes,
decade,
yeah.
you know. So
Before it
this is not
finally dawned on
something
me to
like.
be myself.
Yes, but here is also a question because you know, you
Hmm.
being there a decade now and living there and now trying to blend in, I mean, realizing that maybe you should blend in more than you did. And now let's put you in the position where maybe an opportunity arises in another country. Just now, when you start feeling comfortable within yourself, just now when you know the surroundings, when going to job blindfolded is not a problem. You know where the facilities for your child are, being the medical facility or educational, it doesn't matter. You know where the groceries are, where is the cheapest one. You see? And
Yeah,
now the opportunity arises for you to relocate and start from zero. Ouch.
crazy one.
So,
But
yeah.
if it's part of the dream, I will do it.
No,
Now,
definitely.
I
I know you. I know
uh,
you will. And I know, I mean, you would. Sorry, that's better way to put it. And I know that I would because of the caliber of people we are and how we are thinking and what our dreams are. But I'm
absolutely
trying to also now make a point across the people that cannot.
yes.
You see,
It's
it's just, and
part of
that's
our
why I
reason. Part of
always say, yeah,
the reason
I
why we are
know.
discussing this.
Exactly, exactly. And I always say, like, I understand you, I feel you, I've been there, I've done that. you know I do know, but it's very important to say those fears out loud. I'm gonna repeat it. Say it. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid
Mm-hmm.
to highlight your weakness, because it's gonna help you to get stronger, to get braver, to get that, you know inner will to just fight for more. No, I do not want to be that person. I do not want to be fearful. And even at the end, if you do not relocate or look for, a greener pastures or whatever we want to call it, just for you to admit it and work on yourself, on your inner self, even if you establish roots at one place, and that's where you're going to remain, just say it out loud and work towards that. If not for you, we spoke about it, because of your kids.
Absolutely.
It's very, very simple. And also, whoever is watching this, if you're planning to relocate, or you are the one that, maybe is fearful and stuff, let's reach out to one another. You know a person who's been there, the person can help you. If you have fears and stuff, you need to reach out or try to
Yes,
find, I don't know, agencies, institutions that help people like that. you know uh, uh, there are people that work for that, and or friends, even better, because they're gonna be truthful to you. They're not gonna push you into shit.
that's
So,
so true.
you know and if you're the one who established your roots at one place and you are watching this, please do not judge those that are leaving everything they ever knew behind, because they're chasing their dreams this way and you are chasing your dreams the other way. So, we
Absolutely.
shouldn't be judging based on ourselves, based on our emotions and feelings and stuff. Just let people be. If you need help, whichever way, we are there for you also. It's just that, this needs to be said. Let's speak, let's talk, you know?
Of course, I completely agree with you, Tiasha. The thing is that one another clarification I will add to it, I mean, for those that are just joining the video, is also to understand. Look, you can have your root in one particular place. You can even choose to remain in one particular country for decades or for all your life. That is not a problem
Mhm.
in itself. It is when you abandon your dreams, living in that particular place and criticizing everyone else that are pursuing their dreams, or even those
Yeah.
whose dreams might have taken from where they used to be to where you are at the moment, because your comfort zone may be a place of thorn where one cannot stand. I know people that are saying, why are you here in Europe? Why did you have to come to Europe at this time? This is not the right time to come to Europe. And then even Europeans, I'm telling you. And I'm like, thank God. I appreciate what you just said. It's not a problem for me. I don't buy it because I know how much living in Europe has turn my life around for good. So, like they say, to each its own. So, when you remain
Hmm.
in one particular place, fine. If it's part of your dreams, if it's something that is part of your plans in life and everything. But I repeat, what I do not like or what I find it difficult to accept in most cases is when you that have chosen to remain where you are begin to criticize those whose dreams have taken down here or those that are living here to pursue their dreams in another place. It is not your cup of tea, doesn't mean that somebody else wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
So
And
enough
that's
of
why I
this
said, do
judgment.
not judge based on do not judge based on your feelings, emotions, visions, experiences, because we find comfort in different things. We find
In
love in
different
different
things.
things and places. We're so different, and that's what makes us so unique and special and perfect for this world, you know?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I agree
Absolutely.
with what you said.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you take this message to heart. It's something that we found it necessary in our heart to share it to you. I may share it with you all tonight because until we have been in a place where we find fulfillment, I am not saying happiness. Happiness is something that passes away. It's like a vapor. It comes and go. You know,
Yes,
until you find fulfillment in wherever you live or whatever you do, most of the time people do not rest. They keep working night and day. Whenever a chance or an opportunity open up for them, you will be too surprised to see, whoa, I know this person. I wouldn't believe that he or she may or will be able to do a thing like that. It is because at times in life, we do not have opportunities or rather things do not go the way we plan it. So please remember, until you are where you need to be in life, you may never really find fulfillment where you are. And at times, just that thing you are looking for could just be maybe 3 miles away from where you live. You necessarily do not have to leave the entire country. It could just be maybe person moving. Of course, even like they say, there is internal migration within a country, person moving
hmm,
from one point to another one in the same country. So you don't need to go abroad, so to say, living in another continent for you to find fulfillment. But if you cannot find that fulfillment in that your local vicinity, or maybe in that entire country that you live in, please move because there is life out there,
yes,
to be very honest. And you will find support and mentorship. If only you just ask for it, there are a lot of people that are really ready and willing to assist you. I know that in the course
exactly.
of our discussion we talk about even those that have traveled a lot, oftentimes stereo using stereotype to describe every other places that they have visited. Yes, for the sake of discussion we said that, but that itself is still not a problem because oftentimes before we know the real people or the real person in front of us, we often judge them without knowing the real person that they are.
Exactly.
So we know about any society that we know of through stereotype, to be very honest.
Yeah,
Honestly, I live here in Europe. Until I got to Europe, nothing in the world would have made me believe that most Europeans believe that Americans are stupid. I don't know how it. No, I'm just being honest here. I only start hearing that when I got to Europe, and I'm like, really?
yeah,
Americans are
it's very
stupid?
common.
Yeah, but I think that is short-sightedness. That is not a good reasoning, in my opinion. This is me
It
speaking.
is, but I'm laughing because you're in Italy. I know you deal with Europeans from other parts of Europe, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, they
But
believe
like
that
I'm
Americans are
laughing
stupid.
because my husband, when he was living in Slovenia, he said one thing I learned about Slovenians is you despise Americans. That's why I started laughing because it is very powerful here. Yeah.
Okay. On this podcast, we say things the way they are. That is what really it is a shock to me. They criticize Americans, but I know what American as a country, the United States of America, I know their position and I know what they do for the entire European continent, the European Union, from the security point and even the economic point and everything. Look, to stand in judgment of America as a European, I think that person do not know their history. At least the
You
recent
know what?
history. Leave the
We
old
have to
history.
know something. People are so into politics. They're not into politics when it comes to this, but they, when it comes to describing a country, they bring the politics. We
They
all
bring
know
the
American
politics.
politics the way it is. We all know European politics the way it is, Russian politics, whatever you want to bring out
Yeah,
now. But it's just, you know, we said it is stereotype, but it's based on
absolutely.
political issues.
Yeah.
Let's forget about, how they are as people, because obviously, if you know two Americans, you don't know Americans. But again,
Okay.
yeah,
Yes,
right.
that's
Um,
true.
it's 360 something million Americans, right?
It's about
Um,
335, if I'm not mistaken.
well, well, sorry, no. Kamala Harris said that 220 million has died in the past few months, so that
Oh,
might.
whoa, 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 whoa. Is it? Really? No,
That's why. Let's.
that,
Well, you
that's
brought
so
it up.
crazy.
You know,
Yeah.
there are certain things, right, that on this podcast you shouldn't say when
Yeah.
Tiasha is around, because I have different. But yeah, I thought that it's 360 million something, yeah, something like that. But in the latest discussion, Kamala has said that 220 um, million people has died in America in past few months. So I'm really worried for America, where the health system is taking
Um,
them.
have you
Yeah,
prepared a gift to send to them? Poor
let's not
Americans.
talk about it. Let's not talk about that.
Um, anyway, you see, it's so crazy. We know about people oftentimes starting from stereotype, the stereotype that we
Yeah,
know about them and everything before we get to meet the real them. So even at that, don't let the stereotype of whatever or whatsoever that you know about a particular group of people stop you from exploring. At least, even if
no,
it means you going out there testing the waters, do it. I think that's the best thing anyone on earth can do. There is no form of or source of happiness that beats that, in my opinion. So on that
of
note,
course,
I would like to call it a day for today because I don't want to keep you all waiting for too long. The thing is that don't grow roots in a place that is not convenient or doesn't serve your purpose or your dream in life. Be flowing like the streams of water. Move like the ocean because the world is always in emotion and you should always go along with it. And thank you so very much for a beautiful night, a beautiful show tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. Whoa, there is a comment. Hello, guys. Chichi Igwe. Special evening to you, Chichi
hi.
Igwe. We appreciate your support and everyone else that have seen our video tonight or that will come across it. Share this video around. Let it get to those that it might help. And if you are one of the diasporans like us, try to travel. Try to know the country that you live in. It is not enough to live in a country and you do not know it. You can't be living
Exactly.
in Germany and you do not know Germany. Take holidays, move around. It is very, very healthy for yourself and your children. Give yourself and your children a lovely experience. I know that you want to provide in one way or the other for your family. You know better your family economic situation than us. Obviously, we don't know. But we are just suggesting that you factor this into it a little bit. If you live in the
Yes.
United Kingdom, try to travel around. Even one weekend is enough. It doesn't have to be 2 weeks or 3 weeks. One weekend is enough.
Even
At least
even even taking family for lunch in another city,
it's a beautiful
you know?
thing. So
Yes.
enough is enough. Let us try to know the place that we live in. I really believe it. I genuinely believe it's something that I feel in my heart. It's what I've been doing every year. I make sure that I travel to another city in Italy that
You
I do
know
not
what
know
I want to
before.
know now?
Good.
Whoever is watching this and came to the end with us, let us know in the comments where you were watching from. The
Okay.
country,
That's
the
interesting.
city, whatever. Let me challenge you. Let me see where you guys are. You can let us
Perfect.
know what you have seen in the country, or maybe the best places to go in the country, and let's talk about that.
Yes. And maybe in the future, when we start moving from one city to the other to host the show, we might even take recommendation from you guys. We can host
Exactly.
this show in the city near you or in your own city. So that would be a
Forget
great
about
one.
that. Let us know. Let us know the best restaurants. What are you talking about? Who cares about everything else? Let us know where we eat the best.
Tiasha one chop. Tiasha one chop. Tiasha one chop. Okay. Watching from Coventry, United Kingdom. Wow. Grande. If he's
Yay!
watching from Coventry, that's a lovely one. Well, I am hosting on my part from the city of Parma. And Tiasha, where are you from? Where are you hosting tonight?
I'm in Liverpool,
Perfect. You see,
United Kingdom.
2-1, 2-1. United Kingdom won tonight. United Kingdom
Oh,
won
let's see,
tonight.
let's see. Wait, that Nigeria starts for Abuja. What else? Abuja.
Lagos.
Abuja is gonna be probably the most common one.
Let's see. Let's see
You're
later
gonna win.
on. All right, guys. I really appreciate. It was a great moment tonight. I appreciate you all. May God bless each and every one of you. And even if you don't believe in God, whatever you believe is no problem at all to us on this podcast. Whatever you believe, I send blessings your ways. Have a lovely weekend and my greetings to you and your families. Ciao, ciao.
Bye. Cheers.
Cheers, Tasha.